So I think I've shifted quite a bit, where I think a lot of me asking why it matters before was because I generally wanted to always be doing things for logical reasons that I can back up in my own mind. But I've kind of dropped that. And it's exciting to me to just think about how, like, instead of asking logically how to justify things, I can instead say, isn't it exciting to think, like, if we just assume infinite upside for this podcast, how far can we go? And if I think that way, then I just pick up the next like piece of sand to move over, and I'll move that over. Okay, filler, sure. Let's focus on that. Let's get that out of the way. We've just moved one piece of sand. And then if we can move millions of pieces of sand, we now have a great podcast. So I think that's different from your view because you have a place you want to get to. For me, it feels very like just expansive outwards. I understand, I see all the parts of the system, and I want to just turn up the knobs for all of them and then see what happens.
Yeah, for me, it's expansive insofar as, it's linear. It's a linear expansion. So it's a movement, a very quick movement in a specific direction. But what I sometimes want to clarify is while there's an end game, while there's an end point, it's not just this tiny little point. I mean, there's a lot there. Like that, all that stuff you're talking about expanding is there. It's waiting for us there. And so along the way, I'm doing the same thing. I'm moving grains of sand, or as you mentioned, you called it a stack of tasks before, like you're just taking one task at a time, like the filler words. That's a task, get it done. It's out of the way, you don't have to think about it anymore. Space for thinking about something else. Whereas for me, it's like, it's slightly more finite in the moment. So I'll have a list of finite things that need to be done, and I'll do those one by one. But that list can have things put on, or rather, things can be added to that as well. And so that's technically an expansion, if you will. It's just less, it's more structured, obviously. I think structure is a big difference between the way you describe how you perceive things and the way I, not perceive, but handle things to get to where I want, what I've perceived in the future. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you described that, I also thought of the idea of the main difference we see here is the format of essentially our data processors. And what I hear is you have a task list essentially that has like a hopper that you can feed stuff into, whereas I would say a mind map or a network where I see how everything's connected, and then each of them has like varying levels of brightness. And I say, oh, if you turn that up, like you can turn that up or you can turn that up. And it's just all spread out as a system. And that structure is generally why I don't really care whether one thing is more important than the other. That's not how my structure is set up. However, because you have a task list that's ordered from most important to least important, then perhaps in order to even put it in, you have to decide. So that's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. And like you said about something have an intensity, a brightness to it. You know, it's not my inclination nor my intention to ever just turn up like random knobs, so to speak, namely because that doesn't really serve the purpose. And so I think another way to describe the way I do things, it's very purpose-driven. In fact, everything I do is purpose-driven. And I think you probably know this about me, meaning I don't tend to do something if it doesn't have a purpose. Mm-hmm. I mean, even something like just going on a walk, it's like, I might look like I'm just having a nice stroll, but really I've already planned out the entire route probably, or I know all my options, and I'm really just doing it to serve my health, or just for the sake of, I know that I need to, like I've been working all day, I need a break. So there's always a purpose to the things I do. Whereas I'm not claiming you have no purpose in life. I'm saying that you don't like everything you do isn't purpose driven, right? Or perhaps it's a different type of purpose. So how would you describe, or rather, obviously I said everything I do is purpose driven. Just what is your natural reaction to that?
Yeah. When I go for a walk, for example, I prefer not to have a destination. I prefer not to have a time period. I'm going for a walk to experience a certain kind of state of mind. And that state of mind requires me to not have those things because I'm seeking emptiness and freedom. Mm-hmm. And so generally, I feel in my life, I do have a purpose. Yeah. It's just not concrete. It is actually, I'm pursuing states of mind.
Okay.
Which is why I'm like, oh, the planning, and by the way, like I think right now, I love planning. By the way, just go for everything. Go for everything. Let's maximize all those knobs, right? However, planning, generally I resist planning because it is not for the purpose of reaching that state of mind that I want to reach, which is like a free creative state of mind, right? That's how that's connected.
And so I was just thinking about the walking, for example. It's actually, there are times where I'm just like, okay, I just want to do what you said. I just want to go out and just walk. I don't want to have a destination. I just want to see where I end up. I can't. Like I just naturally cannot. My brain is just trying to figure out what's going on. In fact, it resists even the temptation to just go somewhere aimlessly. I think the only way for me to like physically go somewhere without knowing it is if someone like tied me up, like put a bag over my head, drove me around and I didn't know where I was and let me out. That's the only way that's going to happen. And then even if that were the case, as soon as I'm let out of the van, I'm still going to now have a purpose, which is to figure out where I am and get somewhere that I know or where I need to be. And so like it's actually kind of, when I'm thinking about it now, it's stressful. It doesn't bother me that much until I think about it. But like, I would really like to be able to not care and not have a reason to do something. But I'm just telling you, like the way I'm programmed is just naturally not something I'm good at, or nor do I have faith in myself to be able to do. Whereas the opposite for you, while you have found, at least for now, some interest in planning and going full force into something, etc., like you've sort of said already, it's not something that you've done. Like it's not something that's natural to you, and it's not really. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how comfortable it is for you now. I think when you're interested in something, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as comfort. I think it's just that's what you're doing, and that's what you want to do, and that's one of the options, and you feel good about it.